What are the risks of taking PEDs too young? Well, firstly, what are the risks of taking PEDs? There are a lot. You cannot avoid the risks that are associated with taking PEDs. Now, PEDs, in the sense we're probably describing here, go outside the superphysiological ranges that come with taking, that are described in using TRT. We're not looking at just optimizing hormone levels, we're looking at exacerbating or exceeding natural levels so that we can induce muscle growth, muscle hypertrophy, we can induce training performance, improve training performance and recoverability, and factors like that. Now, testosterone of itself is fantastic. It is a fundamental hormone that males, the life needs. In more extreme doses, we're looking at oxidative stress. We're looking at hepatotoxicity on the liver and kidney. We're looking at shutdown, or the use of exogenous hormones is going to decrease the internal production rate and the need of the facility, that is your sex hormone profiles, that is your HPG, your gonadal area. These things are going to shut down because we're outsourcing the workload. We are looking at neural toxification. There is a list of things that start to happen, things like increasing cholesterol. You tend to find that some compounds will increase things like blood pressure and heart rate. So there's a multitude of health risks that come with taking PEDs. Taking PEDs too young is exacerbating those risks at an earlier period that isn't really necessary. So as our hormone profiles are developing, males really start to prime their hormone profiles, I guess you could say, from puberty through to about, I believe, 32 is where we peak, and then it starts to decline from there. Usually like that 14 to 25 range where you start to find your optimal hormone ranges and the body starts to produce. Now, taking these things too early, you are preventing those processes from occurring whilst also increasing the yield of risks. So we need to be conscious of not only the risk profiles of taking PEDs, but what you're doing to the body early on in life if it isn't an absolute necessity. Shutting down these processes and these systems early has a long-term risk of how that will impact your hormone profiles later on. If we outsource too often, too frequently, shut down things like our FSH and our LH, we're going to look at long-term shutdown of that production. And then eventually, there is risks that things like fertility stops being possible, production of natural testosterone levels, sperm counts, these things start to decline. You may not be able to offset that work. You may not be able to undo what you've done. So these are all conscious thoughts that have to be in your mind when you make these decisions. And it's part of the reasons why I argue for anyone looking to get on the enhanced route needs to prove and earn the right to use at very minimal doses.